going live. All right. So what I'm working on is cutting the bloomers and underwear. It's a macchiato. And this is 100% cotton. So I'm going to do bloomers, and this is going to be the trim that goes around the bottom of the underwear. I have two different colors, and I think what I'm going to do is I want to add different colors and textures underneath the doll's dress. I have not made the dress nor designed it yet. I'm actually designing without a pattern. The pattern's in my head and are the size of the dolls, and that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to do the bloomers on both dolls, the antique and cloth doll, this color. The underskirt is going to be this color. This way, it's not the same color, and you have a different tone and texture whenever you're really looking at the detail of the doll's dress. So first things first, this is 1 yard of fabric. I'm going to cut it in half. Okay. So when I was going to these doll designing seminars, this is basically part of what it was about. Um, I think for this doll, I'm not going to gather the bottom part of the leg, because I'm going to do this lace, and I want this cotton trim to be shown. And I'm going to do it this is like what we call a period piece. So it's done from a different time period. So privately, I was on video chat with the owner of this doll. They purchased this antique doll for me. I restored her, I restrung her. And so that was a private um, video with them. So the doll has been fully restrung with imported German stringing. I can't hardly pull them. I have it double strung. So the doll is completely strung perfectly. So yeah, she can sit down, move her legs, everything like that. She's fully restored. So I'm going to use her, of course, in this process to make her custom undies, which is basically, I want them to go right below the knee to cover up the knee joint. So this way the lace, I can see it's going to go about to right here once it's made. Now, I'm going to turn her over to the side. This is the size that I need. This will be the front part of the her panties, bloomers, whatever you want to call them, because once I sew this in, it'll be that much space. But I don't think it needs to be quite that big. But I need it to be able to go up over. And I'm going to have elastic in the waist. So that reminds me, I have to take it all the way over to half of this, like that. Who in the world? Oh, damn. Someone on the computer. All right, so we're going to go about right here. Yes, Dixie, I have to blow at you because we are going to make her panties. Up to that, like that. Okay, that looks right. And then we're going to take it and we're going to cut it like this. And then come up to about, yeah, that's perfect. The reason why I can do this without a pattern is because once you do the design stuff, it's embedded in your mind. Okay, that's perfect. That'll be folded over. Yep, it'll work. Okay, so that's one half. I'm going to cut this off. Now I'm going to take and fold this over like that. Okay. See, it's already set and ready to go. There. Now I'm going to put this on top of here. All right. And now finish it up. Okay. So now I will go over to my sewing machine. So, see, they're her bloomers. And this is going to be the cotton trim that's going to go across the bottom like that. This is for the antique doll. Okay. And I'm looking because, good, I'm double checking. I'm glad that I have more than enough fabric because I'm trying to keep it where I can use all the fabric for something. So it's possible I can use the other swatch for the other doll and possibly hold this over to the side because I can use it for something else. And this I'm going to use to make the underskirt. I like the color. It goes great with the dresses. So it's going to look really pretty as the underskirt. But first, I'm going to do the panties. So for this doll, we have these ready. And I'm going to set this aside because I'm going to work on both of them at the same time. And I just forgot where I put the elastic. Doesn't that sound like me? Absolutely. Okay. Now I can set her there. And now we have this doll that I made for the same person. I'm making them what I call Snow White. They love my original Snow White. And I attempted, but this time I got it perfect. So they can see she's probably 1, 2.5 feet tall. This is a custom pattern. Y'all saw me working on this at the other apartment. So let me see. No, not that way. If I do it half like this, then half like that. Let me see. Oh wow, this should work because I'd cut it up there to go around her waist. I put the waistline up here higher because around this area we want the dress to be more flowy from here down. We want the dress to flow. So her bloomers are going to help. Yeah, that's what they call them. They call them bloomers. It will help. That's more than enough. That's perfect. Oh, reminds me. I need to go ahead and get the legs cut. Okay. Will help make it open and give it that flow that it needs for that parent look. But I have to come here. Yeah, that's going to go over the leg. Onto this sewn. So I'm good. I'm going to make her bloomers a little bit longer because I want to. All right. So that would be for the leg, but then I could have it where it comes to here. Okay, but then I can make it longer. But then again, she's going to have boots on as well. Okay. And I want to use as much of this as possible without throwing anything away or wasting. So I just cut this all the way up because I got to fold down in order to add elastic so it'll be more gathered. So in other words, her bloomers will go down. This will be folded upward. It would also have lace. So I will need to cut some of the bottom off. I wait and do both of them at the same time. Now, how do you learn how to do this stuff when you're young? Simple. Learn from older people. If you hang around people your age and younger, you ain't gonna learn nothing. You gonna learn a bunch of stupid stuff. Um, I was always around older people when I was a little girl, and I was always around older people when I was learning how to do this. Judy Ward, I was with Judy Ward for a doll making seminar. Also learned how to do doll making patterns, doll making clothing, all of that. I took several seminars with the impeccable, incredible Judy Ward. And I remember being with Cindy Ribbit. Um, I was always around older people because hanging around younger people, you will not get anywhere and you will not learn anything because they're too addicted to cell phones nowadays and all of that other stuff. I'm sorry, but you don't meet a lot of intelligent younger people these days. They're just too busy trying to be on face apps or what have you. So you're not gonna learn anything hanging around young folk. Period. That's how what I learned at an early age. Don't hang around young people because I won't learn nothing from them. And I love the way older women would make dolls and men. I remember, oh my God, I'm not calling last names, but I remember David. Oh, David would always tell us stories about his childhood, growing up in New York, going to the Malcolm Alexander store with his mother and wanting a doll, and his mother bought a doll and set up this lampshade. And when they got the car, David told us that his dad says, "Well, where's the lampshades?" And she told us, she said, "Just shut up, don't ask me about it. Just leave me alone." So anyway, that's what she would tell her. Anyway, David could tell you stories for days. What an incredible, beautiful, and loving soul. I love his stories. Okay, so we have the paintings cut out for both dolls, except one thing is missing. That is elastic, which I will get in a moment. I'm going to dress comfortably as I am. I've also got this trimming out because I'm going to do something extra. Of course, extra. So this is my trim that we're using. It's 100% cotton, very beautiful. It's by Merchant 41. It's a crochet cotton trim. This is the, oh my gosh, anything you can get cotton is amazing. It's usually very expensive. Now, the person I'm making this doll for, they purchased all the supplies for their doll to be custom made and done. They covered all of those things and had everything shipped to me. All right, let me reset my camera up. That. Turn my lamp this way. Okay. All right. I don't want her to go too far, so I'm going to set her up here. And also the antique doll. This is the doll. She has these writings on the back of her head. Antique bisque. Okay. Now, where did I put the elastic? Here it is. Oh God, that one's too wide. This one, oh my God, it's just as wide as well. Huh. I could make a strip. I can cut it in half and do it that way. I need a fan. There we go. But I had an interest in sewing when I was a little girl, and my mom would babysit. Sorry, not my mom. My mom sewed. I would watch her. I wouldn't be impressed with her sewing. Um, so I don't know. That's just how it is. There we go. Grab my coffee. Okay, I'm gonna turn my camera, come around this way, so you can see what I'm doing. Cause this will be over. But first, I'm gonna set my trim on first. I have to put that away. My cat likes to chew on that kind of stuff. Now, a lot of my videos that you see me doing where I am making a doll like this, it's for a dear friend of mine. This person has been a friend of mine probably 10 years now. They've been buying dolls made by me or done exclusively by me or made over by me or painted by me. But they're more of a collector of the dolls that I actually design and make. Why? Because they're original designs. My dolls are original designs that I do myself. Okay, so that's folded. And I'm going to have this part on the outer layer. I could do it like this, but I don't want to because I like that. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do underneath it. Now, even though this doll's dress is not going to be red, I am going to add this burgundy wine across the top of the trim. It's going to look good underneath her beautiful antique style dress that I'm going to design and make as well. Ah, this is the front. I can see the scallop. It looks like little scallops. I'm going to bring it up close to the camera. Let me turn this light off. All right. See that? It's scallop. Isn't that beautiful? That detail trimming. Look at the texture. Beautiful texture. Okay. And now we're going to sew this on. Check my settings. Yep, everything is oh. I'm glad I checked that. Lovely. Isn't that just lovely? Perfect coloring. And this lace goes good even with the darker fabric. So yeah, it looks good with both. The antique doll. I want to add this, but you know what? Her dress is a different color and it's not going to work. I would need this in a dark blue. I'm going to skip with the doll with this era. It's her antique era, her. It wouldn't work. So I'm going to keep it sweet and simple. You know what I mean? Let's keep it nice. Yeah, that has a more antique look, more antique feel, aura, what have you, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, fold this over. As you can see, I leave no raw edges because I folded it before I sewed it. Great, let me turn the light off. So you can see why I fold, and so this is the inside part. Okay, that is fully sewn. Look at that. Beautifully, perfectly seamless. Like I said, I before I was in a fashion doll club that dealt with mostly Barbie before any of that stuff. And that's what I call it, that stuff. I loved it, but I was around older women and I learned from them. So I was around them probably for about 5 years. Oh my gosh, I learned so much. Sad part is, many of them are no longer here in the living world with us. And that's really sad. I cried when I was so upset when Dorothy passed. I mean, such amazing women. And they loved their antique dolls. They really did. They loved those antique dolls. And that's how I was introduced to these type of antique dolls, was these older women who collected them and loved them and enjoyed them. And I remember when the decline for them come in, and they were so upset. I remember Catherine. Catherine was amazing. Her antique doll collection was impeccable. And they were so upset because the value had decreased so drastically and so much. These dolls were no longer in demand. So their value was becoming lost because the people who actually collected them were older and, they were leaving this earth and going to, as we call, a heavenly place. And so it became, unfortunately, a dying collector force, so to speak, because when these women started leaving this world, the demand for the dolls began to decline because their families didn't want the dolls. They were not in demand for them. Anyway, it's just a little educational piece of knowledge I gained over the years from them, and the market for these dolls has steadily declined. Women who paid $5,000 and $6,000 for like one of these type of dolls, or even up to $20,000, their dolls are not even worth half that anymore. Not even a quarter of what they paid And so with me doing videos like this on restoring these type of dolls, the reason why I do such an extensive restoration on these dolls is because I do it without the intent of reselling them. But it's important to restore this type of doll to such a level where um, she can last for many more generations and actually be displayed and enjoyed and touched and played with, because it's a complete full restoration with everything, restoring any parts of the body that had chipped and broke or anything like that. I did my best to restore them as much as possible and added inside the joints up in here. I added this to prevent this from rubbing up against it. So this way it's a type of stick fabric that protects the doll and keeps her protected. Okay. Scissors. I mean, even though I have a small audience, at least I'm getting, these dolls are getting seen by some people. Hopefully they can appreciate them. Also, you have to look out for. There are a lot of fakes, but you can tell because on an original, they had this very pink bisque sheen, and on a fake, it's like white plaster. It just looks like white plaster, and some people don't know the difference. And that, my darlings, is why it's important to hang around older people, older women, learn their knowledge, learn what they know. This way you can pass it on. That way their learning skills are not in vain. It leaves something to share. That's why I enjoy being around older people, respectfully, their knowledge and to learn what they know. Okay, let's make sure I did this correctly. Yeah, that's right. Put it be together like this. And then I do the elastic. Oh my God, am I doing it wrong? I think this part goes together. Yes, I did this wrong. It's okay, it happens. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm only going to sew one side. I do want to add something. I had done a post talking about some tea. If anyone's coming for any tea to be spilled or anything of that nature, it's not happening. I'm not going to be a gossip channel. I'm not going to participate in that or do any of that. It's not worth my time or yours. Oh my God. Hold on.